While you were at work, did you leave work to breastfeed, or did you leave pumped bottles at home for Seth to feed?
I left pumped bottles at home. No, we just had, that's when I would give her solid food.
And even I can look at this photo and I can say, whoa, it put tears in our eyes.
Now, what you're about to see is going to make your blood run cold and your heart ache with sadness. Yes, a child's life was taken away in the most sickening way imaginable. And the motive behind it? Well, prepare yourself, because it's something that's going to wreck you to your insides. What you heard in the beginning was a distress call made by Seth Welsh, an Englishman, desperately dialing 911 for help when his child stopped responding. Frustrated by the delayed emergency services, Seth takes matters into his own hands and rushes to the police station with his wife, Tatiana Fasari. The couple voluntarily stepped into the cold embrace of the Kings County, Michigan police station, unaware of what they were about to open up before the world. Now, as they arrive, the couple is separated and taken into different interrogation rooms, setting a tense atmosphere. Although they're not considered suspects, the discomfort could be sensed. Seth anxiously awaits the arrival of the interrogating officer, his nerves on edge. The detectives dive deep into the details, questioning Tatiana about her children, specifically her oldest child, who needs a special helmet for their head shape. Tatiana expressed doubt about medical services, believing they're all driven by money. She shares her distrust of doctors, who reported her to Child Protective Services over the helmet issue. It becomes clear that Tatiana leans towards conspiracy theories and prefers to avoid social interactions. During the intense interrogation, the detectives uncover more disturbing information. The couple homeschooled their children, and tragically, their first child, who wore the helmet, passed away due to failure to thrive. The detectives inquired about how the baby was fed, and Tatiana explained that she would pump breast milk for her husband to feed the baby while she was at work.
While you were at work, did you leave work to breastfeed, or did you leave pumped bottles at home for Seth to feed?
I left pumped bottles at home.
They also learn that the baby was born at home. When the focus shifts to Seth, he struggles to recall how long they've been married, but eventually settles on 3 years.
How long have you guys been married?
I don't know how long we've been married for, like 3 years.
However, when asked about the baby's feeding, he contradicts his wife's account by denying that she left pumped breast milk at home.
No, we just had, that's when I would give her solid food.
The detectives grow suspicious of his evasive behavior. Seth reveals a deep mistrust in the medical field and emphasizes their preference for home births. As the questioning continues, the detectives press him about the baby's physical appearance. Seth appears hesitant to answer, but the detectives persist. Tatiana, in her interrogation, mentions that she expected the baby's size to increase over time, unlike their other children. This raises concerns, as she, someone knowledgeable in child development, seems unaware of how to care for a tiny baby. Through the beginning of this interrogation itself, doubts were cast on the couple's credibility and their understanding of the baby's condition. However, as the investigation continued, inconsistencies between Tatiana and Seth's accounts began to emerge. The detectives noticed these discrepancies and pressed further, determined to uncover the truth. Seth's calm mask shattered, revealing signs of discomfort and unease. The detectives explored different aspects of the couple's lives, including their approach to feeding their children. Here too, conflicting stories arose. Seth claimed that they overfed their children, while Tatiana presented a different picture. The detectives worked carefully to unmask the complex web of deception and uncover what really happened to their child. They knew that the truth lay somewhere here in the contradictions and secrets hidden beneath the surface. As the investigation progressed, the haunting reality of a heinous crime began to take shape. Now, the detectives questioned Tatiana about her knowledge of Adriana's condition. They were puzzled as to how Tatiana, being an intelligent and educated mother, could have missed the signs of her daughter's severe weight loss. They are concerned about the well-being of their child, and they are determined to uncover the truth. During the interrogation, a photograph surfaced that reveals the extent of Adriana's neglect.
I have a picture of her right here. I'm prepared to show you.
Soon, Tatiana's husband, Seth, enters the scene. His demeanor is chilling, as he remains unaffected by the graphic details of Adriana's condition.
I mean, I can see all of her bones.
He appears detached and emotionless, which leads the detectives to suspect that he may have a personality disorder. They're intrigued by his lack of concern for seeking medical help for their daughter. The detectives continue to dig deeper into the dark narrative of neglect and abuse. They uncover Seth's aversion to the medical system and his refusal to seek medical assistance for Adriana. They suspect that Seth may be manipulating Tatiana and exerting control over her, preventing her from breaking free and seeking help for their daughter. As the investigation progresses, the detectives discover that Seth's indifference and lack of remorse are alarming. Tatiana, too, struggles to find her voice, as she has been trapped in a toxic dynamic with Seth. She appears fearful and unable to speak the truth due to Seth's manipulative behavior. The detectives observe the couple's dynamics and realize that Seth holds significant control over Tatiana's actions and decisions. Now, Seth, slowly haunted by dark secrets, unknowingly starts confessing the shocking truth about his daughter Mary. You see, Seth and his wife Tatiana never paid much attention to Mary's small size, believing that she would grow fine. As the investigation unfolds, the detectives focus on the strange behavior preceding Mary's disappearance. She slept excessively and showed signs of fatigue. Seth recounts the events leading up to the tragic day. He was unwell and spent more time in bed. Tatiana alerted him and he rushed to find their baby gone. Seth knew in his heart that Mary was dead from the moment he laid eyes on her lifeless form. Despite the grief, Seth remained oddly composed, as if hiding something in the depths of his soul. That's when Tatiana steps forward, her voice trembling with sorrow, and shares more details about Mary's demise. She suggests that Mary may have choked in her sleep, but her recollection is clouded by tears and grief. Seth takes the stage once again, his words heavy with remorse. He describes how he pleaded with Tatiana to perform CPR on their daughter, but it was too late. Consumed by confusion, Seth called his father for advice, unsure of what to do. In confusion, they cleaned the house, unaware of the suspicion it would later cast upon them. Next, the detectives start to question the significance of their cleaning frenzy, especially in the middle of such a tragic event. It raises doubts about their true intentions. Was it an attempt to hide something? That's when the investigators discover evidence that the house was still messy when they arrived, suggesting neglect. As the interrogation intensifies, the detectives turn their attention to Tatiana. They question why it took her so long to realize that Mary wasn't growing well. They point out Mary's malnourished appearance, which leaves Tatiana in tears. They push her to reveal any religious or financial barriers that may have prevented them from seeking help for their daughter. In a room filled with questions and suspicion, Tatiana denies any support from her husband Seth in seeking medical help for their daughter Mary. When asked if he would change the past to save Mary's life, Seth avoids answering, leaving uncertain about his true feelings.
If you could go back and reset the clock to try to prevent today, how far back do you think you would go?
The detectives try to convince Seth not seeking medical help is a mistake, but he firmly believes that the medical system is dangerous and refuses to risk his daughter's life. Seth showed signs of a personality disorder, and that made it hard for him to connect with others. They go home but are later arrested. Seth denies any wrongdoing and insists he fed his baby properly, despite evidence suggesting neglect. Mary was found malnourished and without food or water for up to a week, leading to Seth's arrest and charges of felony murder. Finally, the detectives uncover the horrifying truth. Seth's complete disregard for Adriana's well-being and his lack of concern for her life become evident. The detectives concluded that Seth is a sociopath devoid of empathy or remorse. The tragic outcome reflects the devastating consequences of neglect and the profound impact it can have on innocent lives. In court, they were found guilty of child abuse and felony murder. Tatiana finally reveals the abuse she suffered at Seth's hands, but it does not change the outcome. They both received life sentences for their roles in their baby's death.
That is a charge called homicide felony murder. It is life without parole. The second offense that you're both charged with is called child abuse in the first degree.
Anyway, as we wrap up today's episode, this story shows us how the actions and lack of care by these two ruthless, so-called parents killed an innocent child. And the sentence they were given was truly deserved. What do you say? Do drop your views in the comments section below. We'll meet again in the next episode.